Welcome back to another Queer Money bonus episode where we are tackling the most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly cities in every single state, all 50 of them, maybe even some territories. Today, we are looking at the state with the most man-made lakes, 200.
And the home of the highest hill in the world, Mount Cavanna at 1,999 feet. That's a hill.
That must be the highest that you can get to still be a hill and not be a mountain.
Yeah, don't know what the requirements are. And the only U.S. state to produce iodine, and the state with 1 million acres of red dirt, all from weathering sands, siltstone, and shale.
You're listening to Queer Money bonus episode 411, and today we're discussing the most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly city in the state of Oklahoma. Now on with the show. The mission of Queer Money is to financially empower the LGBTQ plus community. Join us in thanking Capital One for supporting that mission. Oklahoma. Not the place where many people think of as the bastion of LGBTQ plus friendliness, right?
Did you know that I spent 2 weeks there one summer, many moons ago?
Driving through in big circles?
Went with a friend. No, I went with a friend and hung out, and it was very pleasant. I enjoyed myself. This is in 95, I think.
Gotcha.
It's been a minute ago.
Well, Oklahoma is similar to states like Vermont and Washington, where there's a large concentration of the HRC MEI ranked cities that all are in a very concentrated area. And in this particular state, it's all concentrated around Oklahoma City. 4 of the 7 cities are in or around the Oklahoma City metro area.
Yes. And every single city that we analyzed had a cost of living under 100%. So that's the first state in our analysis to have that happen. So everything is below the national average, which is great to hear, right? So we're looking for affordability.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So who's our runner-up? Our runner-up is Tulsa, which is home of Black Wall Street. And if you watched or listened to Queer Money episode 249, you know about the Tulsa massacre. Good thing, though, is that it seems to be being revitalized, and so that's exciting. And so we're going to have to definitely check that out here in the near future. Not necessarily live there, maybe, but definitely to visit and vacation, maybe. But why did it get number 2 on our list? It has a 78 out of 100 on the Human Rights Campaign Municipal Equality Index, which is tied with the winning city that we'll talk about here shortly. And has the highest average and median incomes for Oklahoma at $64,000 and $49,000 a year, respectively. Cost of living comes in at 87.9%, which is average for Oklahoma, but clearly below the national average. Home values are on the lower side as well at $210,000 on average per property, and rents are the second lowest in the state of Oklahoma at $1,273 a month.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, somewhat on the affordable side, and those median incomes are somewhat on par with some of the much more expensive cities or states that we've looked at.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised. This is really potentially has a lot of value in being able to stretch your dollar, especially if you're able to earn at or above those median and average incomes. Tired of all the credit card offers you get from your current credit scoring app? Download CreditWise by Capital One today to avoid them. So the winner? Well, it's kind of pretty easy to say Oklahoma City. I mean, there again, we talked about how in the intro how there's a high concentration of these ranked on the HRC MEI index in and around Oklahoma City. But this, we're talking about Oklahoma City itself proper, the actual city of Oklahoma City. It did also get a 78 on the MEI index. It tied for number 2 for average median in income, just slightly below Tulsa, which was kind of interesting, at 62,000 and 48,000 respectively. It has the second lowest cost of living for the cities that we looked at in Oklahoma, coming in at 85.8, so almost a 15% discount to the national average. The home values and the rents were right around the middle, with $213,000 for homes, about $1,300 a month for rents, considerably cheaper than the national average. And in general, it was just slightly better for home values and prices when it comes to the state than Tulsa was. So that's what pushed it to the number one spot.
So what are other great things about Oklahoma City? Well, it's actually a very vibrant metropolis that many people might not be familiar with. It's full of museums, zoos, botanical gardens, parks, and even a wildlife refuge, which is pretty cool. Northwest 39th Entertainment District, aka the Strip, where I had a good time one night, is one of the is where all the nightlife is, including the gay scene, and it hosts actually the Oklahoma City Gay Pride and Festival every year. The District Hotel is the country's largest gay-only operated and owned gay hotel in the country. That is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it's also on the Strip. And then Oklahoma City Gay Pride is the last weekend of June.
Yeah, I think that's might be because so many people come to visit that city, and they want to live or go to a place where they feel a little safe, right?
Yeah. So I just find that fascinating that the oldest gay-owned and operated hotel is in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So in our wrap up, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we mentioned that Oklahoma does have one city that did get a 100 on the HRC MEI index, which is quite surprising. And that is our honorable mention for this week, and that is Norman. Norman, Oklahoma is actually a southern suburb of Oklahoma City. It is the primary campus of the University of Oklahoma, which probably plays into why it did get that 100. Some other things about Norman is that it did come in number 2 for median and average incomes, which were close to the rest of Oklahoma City. But the cost of living is slightly more expensive than Oklahoma City proper itself. So this is a higher end suburb of the city. It did have the second highest home values at 236,000 and the third highest rents at 1,333, which is still about $600 lower than the national average. So Oklahoma City itself is pretty good, but there's a nice suburb and that area around the college campus of Oklahoma City.
So congratulations to Norman. We don't often do an honorable mention, and congratulations to Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Start your journey to financial independence with a checking and savings account that doesn't nickel and dime you with fees. Get a Capital One 360 checking or 360 performance savings account at Capital One today.
Thank you again for listening to another bonus episode of the Queer Money Podcast, where we are focusing on the LGBTQ plus friendly cities that are affordable in every single state. Next week, we are going to be looking at our home state, Ohio.
If you'd like to see a listing of all of the cities and the results of what we're ranking throughout this analysis, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities or click the link in your podcast player for a growing analysis. Thank you and have a great weekend.